Alright guys, so we are now going to talk a little bit about what our cows eat. So you could see earlier them eating their feed, and we're going to break down what's in their feed and how we feed our cows so that they make the best and most nutritious milk possible. So just like people have a dietitian who will tell them what they need to eat and help them formulate their diets, we have nutritionists who specialize in feeding dairy cows, and they help the farmers figure out exactly what their cows need to eat so that they can make good, high quality milk and that their cows stay healthy. So we do have a nutritionist here on our farm who comes and meets with my dad and mom, and he will help us figure out what we need to feed and how much we need to feed and help us create what we call their rations. So we're going to take a look now at what some of the things are in their rations. Now, cows are kind of different from people because unlike us, they have one enormous stomach that has 4 different compartments in it. So they have the omasum, abomasum, reticulum, and rumen. And the food that they eat will go through those 4 stomachs and be broken down a little differently than in people, which is why cows are able to eat grass and a lot of roughage and things that people cannot eat. And so they're able to digest things that people can't eat and turn it into super high quality dairy products, which is really exciting. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into some of the components of our cow's feed. Right over here, we have our corn silage. This is by far the largest component of our cow's feed. Now, this is chopped up corn, and it is the whole stalk is chopped up and it is fermented. We grow the corn right here on our farm. I'm sure you guys have seen the fields of corn around here, and that is what is grown. We're growing cow feed. So we'll take a closer look at that then. Now over here, right next to it, is our haylage. So this is the same thing where we take basically grass, a special type of grass and alfalfa that grows, and we chop it up and ferment it again, and it is super good for our cows to eat. Now over here, we have wheatlage, same thing. We grow our wheat, chop it up, ferment it, the cows love it. And then this is our grain. So ultimately what happens is all of these different components are mixed together, and you can see that in our first video, and we will take a bit of a closer look at it again. It's mixed together in our giant mixer, sort of like a big blender, and then it is fed to these guys. Alright, so our cows eat 110 pounds of this whole mixture each day, which is way more than you and I could ever imagine putting away, even at like a all-you-can-eat buffet. So as we said, this is the largest component of their feed, and then we have those 2 mixed in, and then we also have our grain over here. So in our grain, you can kind of take a closer look at it here. The largest part of our grain, so about half of that, is made up of ground up corn that we also grow on our farm. So you can see it here. And then just to re-emphasize, all of these 3 here and then the corn in here is grown on our farm. So right around us, this stuff is growing all year long. Then we grind that up so it's into a fine powder like that. And then that gets mixed in here into the grain. So we add other things into that as well. So it's mostly made up then of vitamins and minerals, so that like you guys might, eat gummy vitamins or the Flintstones or something like that. So we mix that right into our cow's feed to keep them healthy. Then we also have other things in there, which we call byproducts. So a byproduct is something that comes from human food production. It's left over. So that would be like whenever you are making a candy bar or something, there's extra product left over that you can't use, and it can't be put into the candy bar. So we will dive more into that in a moment. So some of the other things in here are, we have canola meal, some soy meal. Let me Yeah, this one here is the soy meal, so we'll show that in greater detail. Then we do have, I mentioned the chocolate, so we have ground up chocolate in there. It's mixed in, so it obviously does not smell quite like chocolate. We have distillers, and I'll explain what some of this other stuff is. So that is this one here. And then we have palm oil. I do not have a picture of that one, or I do not have a jar of that one. So, as I said, a byproduct is something that we get from making human food, so people food, and it's something that we feed to our cows. So these are things that otherwise would be thrown away and wasted because we as people cannot eat them. So that is why cows are one of the many reasons why cows are so awesome. It's because they're able to take these foods that are left over and we can't eat and eat them themselves. And once again, just to reiterate, the byproducts that we are feeding our cows are the only things that are not coming directly from our farm, that are not grown on our farm. So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the different byproducts we have here. So I mentioned the corn earlier, and we do grow it on our farm, but there is other corn that comes, with gluten and making things like that. We have corn distiller, which is also from corn. Yeah, that's this one here, distiller. So that comes from making ethanol. We can also call it brewer's grain maybe, or something like that. So we have that there. I mentioned palm oil, I don't have that one. Canola meal, so anything that we use to make canola with, you'll see that in lots of ingredients. This is a leftover from making that. We put that in our cow's grain. We have soy hull pellets. Nope, this is cotton. So as you know, the shirt right now that I'm wearing, probably a lot of you guys' clothing, is made out of cotton. So this is leftover stuff that you cannot use to make an awesome t-shirt. So our cows eat it. Of course, it gives them energy and helps them grow. So then we do have here soy hull pellets. These are the ones I wanted to mention. So we have these, so anything that might be used that you might use soybeans for. So maybe if you drink soy milk, or you're eating like other plant-based products like tofu or something like that, you're using a lot of soybeans in that. And this is what's left over. So we're able to feed that to our cows. Beet pulp, that is right here. So beets, we use sugar beets to make sugar, and we use sugar in a ton of different stuff, as I'm sure you guys know. So this is left over from making sugar, and we are able to feed it to our cows as well. So I think that's pretty much all of the ones here. But some of the other things that we're going to use, I mentioned palm oil. That comes from making margarine and things like that. Another really cool one, a lot of these things vary depending on where you live. So dairy farms out in California, if there's leftover fruit and things like that from there, you might have, watermelon, cantaloupe, strawberries, different fruit parts that would have otherwise been wasted will end up in their cow's feed. If you live near a candy factory, maybe there's some Skittles that got wasted, and we can grind those up with the sugar in that and feed it to our cows. I keep mentioning our chocolate, but that's just because it's so awesome and I love chocolate. So we do feed that to our cows here. Almond hulls, that's another big one. So if you're making almond milk, or just anything that you would use almonds in, that would be a leftover thing. Citrus pulp is another really cool one. So that would be more dairy farmers in Florida and California again. But whenever they're making orange juice, you might pull the pulp out because that can be kind of gross to drink. And so we're able to feed that to our cows as well. So that is just a general summary of some of the different byproducts that are in our feeds. And then, as you're going to see here in a moment, all of that gets mixed together in one perfect ration for our cows. We feed that to them 110 pounds a day. They eat it and they make delicious and nutritious milk for us.